Amber is the fossilized resin of long-lost trees. It appears in white, yellow, green, azure, red, blue, as well as black colors, but most of it is yellow. That's why amber is referred to as the sunstone. Due to its mystery and beauty, this work of nature attracted people's attention since ancient times. It's as if amber contains something secretive, not of this world. All peoples of the world each had their own name for it. The Egyptians called it sakal, the Greeks called it electron, the Italians ambra, the French ambre, the Spanish ambar, the Germans bernstein, the Japanese anba. And while in English we call it amber, the first amber seekers of the 1st century AD referred to it as glacym. Amber from the Baltic coast is the youngest of all. It dates from only 16 to 23 million years, or 50 million at most. Meanwhile, the world's oldest amber is hundreds of millions years old. The very oldest, that from North America, is even 360 million years older. Next to it, slightly younger in comparison, happens to be merely 285 to 245 or 145 million years old. However, it is precisely in the youngest Baltic amber mines of the Sambian Peninsula that the greatest amber reserves are concentrated. The wondrous beauty of amber has given rise to origin myths, some of which are tales of striking pain and suffering. One such is the story of the sun god Helios' son Phaeton. One day Phaeton decided to take a ride in his father's chariot. Failing to control the horses, he fell down to earth. Having almost burned down the entire planet, Phaeton perished in the flames, his bodily remains falling into the river Eridanos. Out of grief, Phaeton's mother, Clymene, with her daughters grew into the ground, transforming into trees. Their tears, falling from the branches into the river, turned into ambers so that the river would carry them ashore, thus brining joy to humanity. Such is the tale as told by the Roman poet Ovid at the end of the 1st century BC, whereas the river Eridanos itself, according to 5th century BC historian Herodotus, was located somewhere to the north, in the areas neighboring the amber-rich sea. The Baltic peoples also had their own amber legends. Being queen of the Baltic Sea, the goddess Jūratė fell in love with a mortal named Kastytis. In rage, the god Thunder killed Kastytis and destroyed Jūratė's underwater palace, chaining her to its amber ruins. To this very day, she sits there crying. Her cries were so sorrowful that the sea itself could not bear it. Ever swaying, it throws the remnants of the amber palace out of the depths, spreading amber along the seashore. Amber appears early in written sources. Assyrian cuneiform scripts dating back to the 10th century BC tell us of yellow amber being fished from a sea where the northern star shines, quite possibly the Baltic. The beauty and luxuriousness of amber also echoes in Homer's Odyssey. Look, Pisistratus, joy of my heart, my friend, the sheen of bronze, the blaze of gold and amber, silver, ivory too, through all this echoing mansion. This crafty bandit came to my father's house, dangling a golden choker linked with amber beads. Heinrich Schliemann's discovery of the treasure of Troy revealed Homer's account of amber to have been truthful, as the treasure actually included exceptionally beautiful amber necklaces. The features of amber were also described by Plato. Furthermore, as regards all flowings of waters and fallings of thunderbolts, and the marvels concerning the attraction of electron and of the Heraclean stone, not one of these ever possesses any real power of attraction. Aristotle contemplates the origins of amber in his Meteorology. For both amber and substances called tears are formed by cooling, for example, myrrh, frankincense, and gum. And amber appears to belong to this class, as the insects trapped in it show that it has formed by solidification. Healing powers have long since been associated with amber. Hippocrates described these features, as well as means of administering amber. Callistratus claimed amber could prevent insanity. Grinded together with honey, amber could heal illnesses of the throat, ears, and eyes. Drunken with water, it could heal illnesses of the stomach. Pliny the Younger claimed Roman peasant women to have worn amber medallions not merely as jewelry, but as a means of preventing gland swelling, as well as throat and palate aches. The Persian Avicenna referred to amber as being the remedy to many diseases. Amber reached the lands of ancient civilizations quite early. In the graves of Mycenae in Greece, amber necklaces are found, dating back to the years 1600 to 1500 BC. During the times of the Etruscans and the Roman Republic, amber became a universal phenomenon. Amber was used both as medicine and as cosmetics, as incense and as jewelry, as well as a symbol of the sun. Since the 8th century BC, the Etruscan world was simply swimming in amber. Amber from the Sambian Peninsula and Baltic coast was used for carving necklaces, pendants, human as well as animal statues. It decorated brooches, as well as rings. We now notice an eloquent bridge of commonality between the Etruscan and face urn cultures in their shared burial practices. The Etruscans used to bury their cremated dead in house or human-shaped urns. Meanwhile, the inhabitants of the lands between the Vistula and Persante rivers made urns in the shape of the face of the deceased. They used to put earrings on their ears and decorate their supposed clothes with brooches. On rarer occasions, they used house-shaped urns. There is no doubt that the face urn in house urn practice originated in the Apennines, among the Etruscans, whereas it was the amber road that acted as the factor connecting the peoples of both the Etruscan and face urn cultures. The Amber Road's scale during the times of the Roman Empire can be compared to that of the Silk Road. Escorted by Roman legionaries, trading convoys made their way from the empire's borders towards Sambia and Lithuania's coast. Baltic traders flocked to the Roman city of Carnuntum. Pliny the Elder tells us of the amber-rich island of Balsia or Burkana during the 1st century AD. Roman soldiers called the island Glaciaria. Then there's the 325 BC account by Pytheas of Massalia about the Abylos Island on the ocean shallows. To it, the currents bring amber in the spring, and this is the debris of the frozen sea. Its inhabitants use it for firewood and sell it to their neighbors, the Teutones. Later, in the year 98 AD, we hear from Tacitus, "To continue then, the right shore of the Suebic Sea washes the tribes of the Aesti, but they also search the sea, and are the only ones in the world to gather amber in the shallows and on the shore itself. They themselves call it glacum." Pliny the Elder described Emperor Nero's delegation. From Carnuntum in Pannonia to the coasts of Germany from which the amber is brought is a distance of about 600 miles, a fact which has been only very recently ascertained, and there is still living a member of the equestrian order who was sent thither by Julianus, the manager of the gladiatorial exhibitions for the Emperor Nero, to procure a supply of this article. Traversing the coast of that country and trade routes there, he brought back amber in such vast quantities as to admit of the nets, which are used for protecting the podium against the wild beasts, being studded with amber. The arms too, the litters, and all the other apparatus were, on one day, decorated with nothing but amber, a different kind of display being made each day that these spectacles were exhibited. The largest piece of amber that this personage brought to Rome was 13 pounds in weight. This journey was made between the years 57 and 62 AD. A burial inscription from Bulldog near Aquincum and Carnuntum complements Pliny the Elder's account. Quintus Atilius Primus, son of Spurius of the Volturi tribe, an interpreter of the 15th Legion, also a centurion, traitor, aged 80, is buried here. An interpreter, centurion, and traitor from the 15th Legion, based in Carnuntum, the major amber trading city on the Danube between the years 14 and 63 AD. These two sources, as well as sightings of Roman legionaries in Pythias Island of Glaciaria, suggest that the empire's legions were the force in charge of security for Nero's trading mission. Amber constitutes the ideal commodity. It does not expire, it's easy to transport, it doesn't require any caretaking, and it's very expensive. Another passage from Pliny the Elder describing the cost of a small amber-made human figurine as exceeding that of a healthy slave can help in estimating amber's monetary equivalent. In Rome, slaves' costs varied, but a healthy 20-year-old slave would have costed around 7,700 euros, and a female slave 10 times as much. The 13-pound piece alone provided material for at least 4 such figurines. Therefore, the cost of such amber would have been around 31,000 euros, and it could easily fit inside a casket, merely 10 centimeters in width, 15 centimeters in height, and 26 centimeters in length. Having in mind the vast quantities mentioned by Pliny, it becomes clear why Roman traders took the land route. In spite of the difficult journey, it was at least 26 times as cheap as the sea route. 100 such caskets would have costed 3 million euros in Rome, so it's not so hard to comprehend why the trading convoys were escorted by soldiers of the 15th Legion. What form of exchange did the traders of the Amber Road use? Was it barter or Roman money? Back in the 19th century, the dominant opinion was that the Roman coins found in the Baltic lands were merely utilized as raw material. But the Western Balts burial practices shed doubt on this view, due to the many Roman coins discovered in the burial places of men, women, and children. This has given rise to a new hypothesis, claiming Roman coins to have acted as a status symbol among Amber Road traders. These coins were added to traders' family burial places, whereas within the Amber Road trade system, they simply acted as money. But with the decline of the Amber Road, the trader strata declined as well. Consequently, their burial markings gradually disappear, as does the tradition of coinage, at least till new forms of cash begin appearing. Brass working, however, continued as an enduring feature of the Aestian culture. We know how long the Amber Road was from its contemporaries, almost 600 miles or 890 kilometers. They also related the starting point to have been Carnuntum. They failed to say, however, where exactly along the amber-rich Baltic coast lay the final destination. In total, there were at least 3 different routes, from Lentia to the lands between the Vistula and Persante rivers, from Aquincum and over the Carpathians, towards the junction of the Nemunas and Neris rivers, and last but not least, from Carnuntum to the mouth of the Vistula, and from there to the incredibly amber-rich Palvaninkai area on the northwest of the Sambian Peninsula. Researchers have identified 6 Amber Road-connected cities on the left bank of the Vistula River, the first of which was called Arsiqua and located near Mistelbach in modern Austria. Traveling from Carnuntum, it would have been a 66-kilometer walk. Following Mistelbach, the second was Pariana, next to the modern town of Brclav in Slovakia. This took the traders 34 kilometers. The third city, that of modern-day Brno, which the Romans called Eburodunum, stood 60 kilometers further. The road through what is today Slovakia ended at Felicia or Vyškov, another 34 kilometers. From there, the Roman legionaries followed the paths of the Germanic Lugi tribes up to Kalicia or Kalis in modern-day Poland. This entailed a distance of 322 kilometers, and the final 6th city of the Amber Road of Askakallis stood in the Baltic lands along the Vistula River, 199 kilometers from Kalicia. Today it's called Osielsko and belongs to Poland. In all, the journey through the 6 known cities of the Amber Road totaled 691 kilometers, which is 190 kilometers short of the almost 890 referred to by Pliny the Elder. Most researchers believe the most probable destination for Nero's mission to have been Elbing, right next to the Vistula Lagoon. The distance between Elbing and Askakallis equals 163 kilometers. So in total, it's 854 kilometers or 576 Roman miles. It is truly impressive how precise Pliny the Elder's estimate of almost 600 miles truly was. The Amber Road took us from Carnuntum to the shores of the Vistula Lagoon. But what routes did the Western Balts take in order to contact Roman civilization? From the many existing paths and trails, let's look at those that went from deep within the country. They may as well started at Sarginae, a settlement at the juncture of the Nemunas and Neris rivers that was home to traders of the Amber Road's Carpathian route in the 1st and 2nd centuries AD. Or it could have been at Dauglaucus, another settlement found going up the juncture of the Nemunas and Jura rivers. The latter better fit the story's spirit, as their route went toward Carnuntum, the end of the Vistula road in the Elbing vicinity or the mouth of the Vistula. The dense river network of the Easti world came in handy when it came to trading on the Amber Road. However, only recently have we discovered precisely how they succeeded in overcoming such great distances. The canoes discovered by archaeologists would have been unsuitable due to being too small, incapacious, and easy to flip over. Taking into consideration what Baltic craftsmen between the 1st and 3rd centuries AD were capable of, it's assumed that they built lumber rafts. The latter might have been about 13 meters long and 5 to 6 meters wide. The raft's ends were pointed, whereas the sides raised by 2 or 3 logs. They had steering oars at both ends, with those standing on the sides using setting poles to move along. On encountering obstacles turning the raft could switch ends and continue its journey. Such rafts had a carrying capacity of about 8 tons, and they provided enough space to put up tents for people and horses, and naturally for merchandise. The Lithuanians' historical Samogitian horses were quite small, weighing from 380 to 420 kilograms. Such rafts could easily make long journeys with even 10 horses on board. Amber road travelers from Dauglaucus made regular trading journeys. The convoys of rafts must have been an impressive sight. Helmsmen at both ends, at least 3 rowers from each side, an armed escort and traders, blacksmiths, stablemen, and other fellow travelers. In all, a large band of armed men, which in and of itself made these journeys relatively safe. It would have taken the Dauglaucus traders 28 kilometers going down the Jura River to reach the Nemunas, then another 33 kilometers before entering the river Gilia, which would have taken them to the Curonian Lagoon. From there, they would have entered the mouth of the Damina River. Going up the latter, they'd have reached the great Sambian Preaglius River, and finally, the Vistula Lagoon. Its shores took them to the Elbing Bay, while the local river network allowed them to reach the nearby Vistula River. Surviving written sources in geography help us unravel the Amber Road network. However, we now know where the Western Balts set up their trade venues, thanks to research on Baltic burial places dating between the 1st and 4th centuries AD. The findings of Roman coins and burial places provided us with something akin to footprints of what was once their early trade network. Research of burial locations in the Vistula and Prisante interflu, the Masurian Lake District, as well as Sambia, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, has helped us determine the leading traders of the Esti world. The money bag opens up on the Sambian and Lithuanian coastline. In Sambia, 86 burial places yielded 633 coins, whereas 40 burials in Lithuania contained 636 coins. Findings elsewhere proved more modest. However, sorting the necropolises by the amount of coins found in each burial, we're able to trace back the footsteps, leading from the Vistula Lagoon in Elbing Bay towards the Sambian Peninsula and Lithuanian coast. Thus, we find Pliny's account of traversing the coasts of that country and trade routes there to be true after all. Regular contact between the Aesti and the Roman world allowed the former to acquaint themselves with and to assimilate the latest jewelry techniques, art styles, and secrets of weapon making. The well-known historian Maria Gimbutas referred to the Amber Road period as a golden age of Baltic history. She claimed the 1st centuries AD to have been a time of great energetic strides in material culture, as well as creativity of the Baltic peoples. This female hat, discovered in the 66 Dauglaucus burial place and dating back to the 3rd century AD, truly symbolizes Gimbutas' golden age. As we can see, it's coated in shining brass and covered in traditional solar symbolism. The artistic commonality, once engendered by the Amber Road, is powerfully expressed in the Salò Museum, located on the shores of the Garda Lake in northern Italy. It exhibits findings from the Lugone necropolis dating back to from the 1st to 4th centuries AD. These double-coiled pendants, discovered in the 35th burial place at Lugone, and dating back to the 1st century AD, are the exact prototype for the pendants found at Dauglaucus. The Amber Road traders of the 1st to 3rd centuries AD lived surrounded by incredible luxury, talented artists tailored colors, which amaze us to this very day, whereas skillful jewelers decorated them. And such works were exclusive to the Western Balts. The enamel and glass necklaces, crafted at imperial workshops, are also part of the Amber Road's legacy. The items of chest jewelry are particularly charming. Their sun-embodying open-work brooches with finely made brass chains became exclusive jewelry for the tribal nobility. Such were also the special formed rings, which could have acted as forerunners of later Aestian symbols of power. The ring of this female Aestian aristocrat also bears the same sun symbols. She tied her hair with a colorful band, decorated with hanging brass spirals, and an ornament made of brass spirals and amber beads on the backside. A gold-shining necklace of the finest brass spirals shined onto an ornate collar decorated by 3-part pendants. The woman's hands were decorated by 10 bracelets, 5 for each, engraved with various ornate patterns. The shining apex of this array of jewelry belonged to a shoulder-covering mantle. It includes 2 round-shaped brooches with pendants and fine-made chains. Indeed, the recipient of such beauty must have been a very special woman, quite possibly the keeper of the tribe's customs. If so, it is she who handed youth their weapons on occasion of maturity and manhood, and it was she who gifted girls their bodkins, instructing them about their role as keepers of the family and hearth being intertwined with the path of their future husband, whether it be that of warrior, of trader, etc. It is said that few European tribes and peoples were armed the way the Balts were, and that happens to be true. On the Amber Road, Baltic warriors carried many different types of weapons, such as bog or made battle knives, various spears, as well as acquired Roman swords, battle axes, iron-coated wooden shields, bows and arrows. The experience of Baltic-Roman communication transformed armament, as well as the warrior community itself, up to the symbols used by the military aristocracy. The arsenal of a warrior from the late 1st to early 2nd century AD used to include a sharp battle knife, a shield and a spear with a large, diamond-shaped iron head. An Amber Road warrior, armed with 2 knives, a battle axe, heavy spear, and shield. This warrior from the middle of the 3rd century AD was armed unlike any of his predecessors. 3 spears, 2 battle knives, a battle axe, and a special iron-coated wooden shield. Here we also see attributes of the military aristocracy, a fine attire enhanced by beautiful jewelry. The best collars, rings, and special brooches became available luxury items for famed warriors. The Amber Road brought unseen wealth and cultural advancement to the Aestian peoples. It was during this period that the Great Migration of the Western Balts began. It became the impulse for the formation of the Western Baltic tribes. The Prussians, Galindians, Sudovians and Yotvingians, the Scalvians and Curonians, the Lithuanians and Oxtatians, the Samogitians and Semigallians, Latgalians and Selonians. As their descendants, we also trace our origins back to those same Baltic tribes whom the Amber Road inspired to make history.